Hey everybody, this is Matt Treetop Permaculture, and we're at Dogwood Creek, my house and little mini farm, to be, I should say. Anyways, I'm here in the main veggie garden area, and I wanted to give you guys a little tour what the progress is. So this is like kind of like a intensive, if you will, mini forest garden, vegetable garden kind of deal. Obviously, if you guys see my other videos, I got a lot of fruit trees and berries and different things like that. But the last couple of years, it's been evolving here, the veggie garden, to be more and more wild every year. And so primarily this year, most of the stuff that I grew is volunteers. I would say it's about 80% volunteers, which what volunteers around here is squash, tomato varieties of tomatillas, all different kinds of squash family, which include melons and other things. So I've got watermelons and cantaloupes and cucumbers and all different types of squash that I can't even really name, or I don't even know all of them because I just get squash from everywhere. People give me and stuff. I love squash. They're easy to grow, which is great. But yeah, I've been evolving this garden. This was the really first year that I really did the chop and drop in the main garden and used all the materials from last year just where they sit. I just pulled up the leftovers from last year and let it sit, kind of chopped it up a little bit, but it's really had great results, so come and check it out. So this is kind of the beginning, and you can see I put up this fence. Finally put up a fence because I don't like fences, but we had a major overpopulation of deer this year, so first time the deer have ever been in my garden, and they ate all, you're gonna see them, they all grew back, but all these eggplants and peppers that were on here, probably about 50 or so eggplants and peppers along this raised bed over here, and that sucked. So I put up a fence. It's just like a simple cheap plastic deer fence, and then I put these little streamers, these little flags up all around because I want to make sure the deer didn't get caught in it. The first couple days before I was able to finish it, the deer got caught in it in one spot, and I didn't want that to happen, cause more damage. My apple tree is producing the first year. This is the first year it's produced. This is a 5 different types of apples. I can't name all the varieties right now, but Granny Smith, Fuji, I think Yellow Delicious, and there's one other I can't remember, or two others I can't remember. But anyways, I kind of moved my compost pile down below this year, but this is also another compost pile which I'm going to extend a little bed here for more fruit trees, and then because I'm going to keep bringing this to more of a perennial situation and actually keep my main garden up by my house next year. So that's what's up. Anyways, I'm growing potatoes the first time this year. That's what you see right here with the flowers. They're almost ready to get pulled up. And then of course squash that just presented itself and grew all around it. I'm just seeing how this is going to work. It's all experimental. But I'm getting a lot of flowers. I've already pulled squash out of here. That big giant one is my awesome Lakota / spaghetti squash hybrid, and it is so crazy. This thing will go hundreds and hundreds of feet. It goes way out there, it goes way over here, and then it goes all the way down the hill. And I actually cleaned out about 50% of it. I pruned about 50% just so I could walk through the back side of my area. So anyways, that's really cool. I got cilantro, which is now going to coriander seed. I've harvested a lot of cilantro. Of course, there's still plenty of really potent cilantro that you can get off of this. So that's cool. But yeah, look at the eggplants. I mean, you guys seen the pictures I put out there, but they all grew back with a furious vengeance. And so they're doing good, and I think we're still going to be fine. This is my first year growing this. This is popping sorghum, so I have no idea what it's like or what's going on. My beans have grown up and they're starting to climb this, the ones that I just planted a couple weeks ago, which is kind of cool. It's like the three sisters, only it's two sisters. Behind my eggplant, I've got my peppers, which also were eaten down to the ground. They're coming back. Habaneros, ghost peppers, bell peppers, Thai peppers, banana peppers, you name it. I got a lot of peppers, and they're blowing up just in the last week. I mean, they've gone crazy. Got volunteer tomatillas everywhere. That's what I get the most of, so I got lots of volunteer tomatillas. Mixed varieties of squash in here. You know, this is just normal zucchini squash. I got green and yellow. I've got this other off-green kind of color squash which I've never grown. Watermelon going crazy. This is a crimson watermelon. Yeah, I thought it was a baby watermelon. I harvested the first one. It wasn't quite ready, so they're actually going to be really giant. And I've got tons of them on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a really big one over there. And then like 6, 7. There's like 8 of them on right now. And this is only about a month of growth. So, there's my kitty. Say hi, Amelia. There she goes. This is another one of those Lakota hybrid spaghetti squash. Huge leaves. Again, I had to clean out so much of this. It was completely taken over my trail. I couldn't get through here. And it's gone, you know, way over here. It just goes crazy, man. So I try to keep as much of it as I can, which is great, but it still needs lots of room. I had some kind of thing going on here with my cucumber, lemon cucumber, so I hope it pulls out of it. I'm just letting it go. But anyways, tomatoes and tomatillas pretty much all the rest of the way down, because these were all volunteers. I might have moved them around a little bit, but you can see how many tomatillas I get on a plant. I get 100-something tomatillas on each plant, and they just keep producing and producing and producing. I mean, it's unbelievable and completely wild, and deer don't eat them. They're awesome. I recommend, if you live in the mountains, to grow some tomatillas. Here's just a couple I harvested this morning. And again, you know, here's my intermixing of squash and tomatoes, and this is my huge tomato section. Again, mostly all volunteers. I did plant some with seed, but mostly all volunteers. And of course I got basil growing up in between the tomatoes. This is Siam Queen, which is a really great variety. I've also got some cinnamon basil. Here's some cinnamon basil here. I just densely pack my tomatoes, and the deal is when you do this, they rest on each other. They hold up on each other. And if I ever get a problem with some tomatoes that are falling over, I just go ahead and I just take it, like this was like this yesterday, and I just push it back, and maybe, you know, maybe I'll take one string and like kind of come from the front and just go across the whole front side like this to hold the whole thing up generally. And yeah, I gotta like search for my tomatoes. Like, you know, if we go in here, like there's tomatoes, but they produce so much better, and you don't have to water hardly ever. I've got some more potatoes on this end. You can see my wild grapes that I put in over here, really taking off. I just chop and drop this whole hillside here that was last year's ryegrass and other things that I put there. So it's doing really good, a lot of biomass. Believe it or not, this little girl does not poop in this because of the straw. So, which is awesome. That used to be a problem. Anyways, that's my main garden here. Produces enough food for me and, you know, about 5 other people for a year. Again, I'm taking it easy now, doing pretty much a self-sufficient garden. I really don't have to do a lot to this garden. Watered every 3 days, except for the really, really hot days. But it's really turning out. Of course, I got all kinds of random stuff. Here's some